The gun was on my head. Next thing, they fired. They fired
at point blank. You talked about confession and peace, and I brought you to an old Hindu temple.
Okay.
It's almost 1,000 years old.
Wow.
Jay had a near-death experience.
So Arun and Ruchir, you're running with a ghost today. This is the one area, the one bullet. A bullet there and one here which exited, and there's one at the back.
So this is a bullet?
Yes. You want to kill me? Kill me. I gave in, and next thing, they fired. They fired
at point blank. Yeah, this is the old Bangalore village.
Excellent.
Still there in Bangalore.
Yeah.
But we want to hear about you now.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, you know, I was a very free person in the sense of growing up. During my work days working for a medical supplies company, I used to frequent all townships, Soweto and all townships in Johannesburg and in Durban. So I was very free, scared though, with a BMW on my normal glasses that you see me with, the black glasses.
Okay.
Open all the windows, sunroof, put on, and the Farsi at that time, loud music, just so that you're in the township and you drive without any fear, so that anyone sees you, they, oh, who's this? He's not afraid. And you
need to show that you're
exactly.
Not scared. Wow.
So, you know, I did all that. Then in 2000, on the 26th of February, Saturday night, at my home. I lived alone. I was a bachelor.
Okay.
Then,
you were 32 then?
I was 32 then.
Okay.
Yeah. So at around, just before, at around 8:30, I went out prior. I was getting some work done. I went out to get a meal for myself and got back home. I didn't have any remote gates, so I parked my car outside my garage and I went to close up the gates. And as I was doing that, a gentleman I saw from across the road, he came over to me and he talked to me nicely. You know, hello, my brother. And, you know, he was inquiring about someone.
Okay.
But little did I realize that there was someone, it seemed that someone was already in my yard. And the guy in front of me kept me occupied to talk to him.
Okay.
And the next thing I did, when he turned around to leave, I just felt the gun on the back of my head.
Oh, you told someone behind you?
Someone behind me.
He was just distracting you?
Yeah, the one in the front talking to me, he distracted me. And he says, okay, see you, my brother. And when he turned, immediately when he turned, the gun was placed on my head.
Oh my God.
So at that point, immediately, I gave in and I said to him, what do you want to do, my brother? You want to kill me? Kill me. I gave in. I allowed myself to give in. Even though I was armed, I was carrying a gun.
You were armed?
I was armed. I didn't even have a second of thought to pull the gun off. I'm glad I did not. So anyway, the gun was on my head. Not too much talking. The guy in front of me then grabbed hold of me.
Okay.
And I gave in, and next thing they fired. They fired
at point blank?
Point blank, the first shot. That was one of the reasons why I think I survived, because of the impact. We could not create the impact in terms of the bullet penetrating. So the first one was on my head. The second was possibly either neck or my spine. And as I went down, I got the third.
Oh no.
Okay? And
3 bullets at point blank.
3 bullets. I lay in my driveway. You know, everything just, it was God's luck. I was blessed in terms of, I lay basically in the center of my gate. And at that particular point, my neighbor, whose home is facing a totally different direction across the main road.
Okay.
You know, on that day, he let his dogs out of the home, his one dog.
Okay.
And the dog was frantically barking. And my neighbor heard the shot. Okay?
Okay.
So he came out of his home to check why his dog was barking and what was going on. But he's looking in a totally different direction. And he heard the phone ring. and that was my phone. Okay? So I'm still lying on the driveway,
You're conscious?
conscious.
Oh, I see.
I picked up my head. When I heard the phone ring, I was thinking, this could be my only chance to survive. I need to notify someone. Okay? So I picked up my head a little because all the time I pretended dead to help me. So I picked up my head a little and I looked behind because I could still feel a gun on my head. But in the meantime, it was a bullet. And I saw no one around me. So I looked at the phone. I saw the person's name. I answered and I said to him, Siva, I'm lying, I'm shot. I'm lying on the driveway. Please send the ambulance and the police.
Who called you?
It was one of my friends that
Just coincidence?
Coincidence at that time, 8:30.
Wow.
And
He just called you to speak to
he
you.
called, yeah, because he wanted to know where I was. Okay? So I switched off the phone. I threw it in the bush close to me, and my car keys. I just threw it in and I continued pretending like I was dead. That's the only.
So where were your shooters when you were doing all this?
Well, the neighbor related the story after a while, stating that the two guys were sitting across the road in their vehicle.
Okay.
So that seemed to have been the modus operandi, where they would shoot, everyone comes out of their home, look around, looks outside their home, nothing's happening, everything's clear, and they will continue their normal life.
Oh, wow.
And then these guys come in and
So they were
start
out to steal something, you think? Or?
yeah. So they will come and loot the home, steal the car, the BMW I was driving to.
So you had the
3 to 5.
presence of mind to throw your keys and phone in the bush.
And then my neighbor,
You heard that phone call.
he heard the phone call, Gideon, a black guy. He and his wife came out. They saw me. As I said, if I was 2 steps away from where I was, right or left, he would not have seen me. I was dead center of my driveway gate. He saw me, he came out, he left his wife to stand with me, and she was apparently screaming at those guys, which took off in the speed.
Oh, so she knew them, she saw them.
No, yeah, she saw them.
Wow.
And
She's brave.
yes, and he drove at least 500 meters because of he was in another road, in a sense, to pick me up and take me to the nearby clinic.
And you were conscious all this time?
I was conscious. I can't believe it myself. And I spoke to him. I was speaking to him. He was keeping me going. I was saying to him, take me to Alexandra Clinic. That was the clinic I went to because I was in the medical field. And, all the medical equipment, including the emergency beds, was supplied by me not very long time ago.
Was it close by?
It was close by, just about 2 kilometers, 2 kilometers away. Yeah, so I got to the clinic and all the matrons and sisters, including the securities, because they all knew me, I was very popular in the clinics, and they were all hysterical. Our Jay, what's went wrong? And they had me in emergency care. The paramedics came, and I could feel at that point that I was dying, I was giving up. I could feel my breathing was getting a bit stronger. And I said to the doctors or paramedics, you know what, give me an injection and let me sleep. I want to sleep because I don't like this feeling. And I got up 3.5, 4 days later.
4 days later?
From a coma. And the rest is history. So I've had the bullets removed on the 8th, 9th day. I've had the bullets from my head and my spine removed. And on the 10th day, would struggle. I had a shower because my hair was one of my important features with gel. And it wasn't looking good in ICU, so I had to get into the shower. I like that.
Image conscious.
Yeah. So I got into the shower, and the matron, the sisters told me, "You're not allowed to go into the bath." And I said, "Sister, my hair is still stained with blood and all
So
of
now
that."
you know Jay's priorities. Hair. Wow.
At that time, I had a lot more hair. So I went in to the shower. I had a good bath in pain.
Not only did you have a lot more hair, you were a lot stouter, Jay.
Yes, yeah, much.
I mean, look at this photo.
Yeah.
That is Jay. How many?
So,
I can't believe that is you.
when I came out of the shower, I cried, I screamed with pain. And the sisters punished me and said, we told you not to go. So suffer. And they never gave me any medication to ease the pain for a while. But
So that's what you learned about pain.
pain, of course. What part of the... I didn't realize it then, but yes.
You learned to live through the pain,
Yeah.
which was
So-
given deliberately.
For sure.
Wow.
So on the 11th day of my hospitalization, you know, my parents, my family was hysterical. I was in Johannesburg. This happened in Johannesburg, by the way.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So my family is all from Durban. So they all came up. And in order to ensure that my family, including my wife now, Melanie, they were at ease. On the 11th day, I was outside in the car park, trying to do squats and, you know, jog and things like that.
Seriously?
Just to feel, because I was a footballer. I love
Oh.
football. And I was very, you know, physically at that time.
So let me just go through this. You were shot at point blank range with 3 bullets.
Yes,
You had the presence of mind to throw away your keys and phone.
yes,
You were lucky that a man, your neighbor, let his dog out that day
correct.
who chose to bark
Correct.
when he heard the shots. You were lucky you were lying in the middle of the driveway so that he saw you.
Yeah,
He had a brave wife who yelled, and hence your shooters decided to run away.
wait, yeah, drive away. Yeah,
And you were close to a hospital where everybody knew you.
Correct.
Close, because
yeah,
the golden hour, the first half hour must have been critical.
correct. Yeah, it all happened so fast.
Oh my God.
And it all happened as a miracle and sense. You know, our Swami, even though I was not so much a religious or spiritual person, but on a Thursday, I dedicated a fast on vegetarian, even though I struggled to cook because I lived alone, but I fasted. And all the good things, maybe a little of the good thing that I did as a young boy paid off. You know.
Good karma, Father.
Yeah.